I will lament a little bit not being able to get it out to Barnwell Mountain, and I just was not able to make it out there to test this thing off-road. Though I have tested this platform out there off-road in the GMC Canyon, I absolutely loved it. Suffice it to say, of the vehicles I have tested out there, this is the one that is the most capable out there, most closely in my price range, and the most likely to end up in my driveway. Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey, and this is a 2025 Chevy Colorado ZR2 AEV Bison, perhaps my next pickup truck. I love this thing. And in this video, I will show you all around it, give you a tour of what makes this one so special, contemplate maybe if it is a bit overpriced or underpriced, and even compare it to the most recent off-road focused Chevy pickup truck we had in a 25 Silverado with my beloved baby DuramaX engine. All that and more coming up. Stay tuned. Yes, gearheads, believe it or not, this massive pickup truck is a midsize. They do get bigger than this. And yes, that last Chevy Silverado LT Trail Boss we had here on the channel is proof of that. And that while it was an off-road focused pickup truck, wasn't the ZR2 version, so they even get bigger and more out there than that. But this is the biggest, the baddest that Chevrolet offers in the midsize segment in this 2025 Chevy Colorado. The last Chevy Colorado we had here on the channel was a Trail Boss, which is basically a work truck trim with a lift and off-road suspension. This ZR2 is everything. It is loaded, it is topped out, it is maxed out, and does have a price tag just under $65,000 as this one sits. There's a lot to get into with this one, but first, let's start under the hood. I did joke that that Silverado we had my favorite baby DuramaX engine. This has the TurboMax engine. You're kind of getting what Chevy is doing there with their engine nomenclature. This is a 2.7 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. This is its most high output version, making 310 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque. That is even more than a naturally aspirated 5.0 liter Coyote Mustang V8 engine. Actually quite impressive torque numbers here in this one. Unfortunately, it's also thirstier than a Ford Mustang GT with its 5-liter V8 engine. The EPA rates this at 16 mpg across the board, but we're hanging out around the mid-13s in this one. A far cry from the 16 across the board that the EPA is claiming. Now, that isn't to say this is a bad engine. I've actually really enjoyed my time with this powertrain. It is plenty torquey, plenty peppy, and the 8-speed automatic it has made it to knows what I want it to do when I want it to do it. But we'll get into that a little bit more when we're driving it. But yes, turbocharged 4-cylinder, no more V6. And that's kind of a head scratcher because the fuel economy in this truly is worse than a 5-liter Mustang. It's just kind of odd when you talk about what the two are built for. I know this is a pickup truck and it is essentially a fist trying to make its way through the wind, but seems like a V6 would have been a better option. But let's talk about the looks of this thing because it is big, it is massive. It stands like a small bodybuilder because it has the tallest stance of the Colorado line. It really is a big, brawny little vehicle to be sure. It stands at a 10.7-inch ground clearance elevation. The approach angle is 38.3 degrees. The breakover angle is 24.6 degrees. And that departure angle is 25.1 degrees. This being an AEV version, we do get AEV specific front steel bumpers that give better clearance to the front tires. We get skid plates, tons of underbody protection on this one. In fact, this AEV package is over $11,000. It's wheels, it's tires, it's underbody protection, it's front and rear body protection in both of the steel bumpers. And then, yeah, we do get a full-size spare back there in the bed. Is this $11,700 option worth it for everybody? Well, I can tell you in the week that I've had this, unfortunately due to weather and timing restrictions, I wasn't able to take this one off-road. I don't think a lot of these are actually gonna find themselves off-road, but if you do, my goodness, this thing is insanely capable. It definitely has the numbers on paper, and we did actually test the GMC variant of this very pickup truck in our favorite off-road testing grounds of Barnwell Mountain. And I'd say this really is a good overall platform. One thing that makes the ZR2 model so special are these Multimatic shocks. It's basically F1 style technology put into off-road pickup trucks, and any Chevy wearing a ZR2 badge does get these Multimatic shocks front and rear that do soak up the bumps very nicely and make this a good road racer or off-road racer, as the case may be. You can see we also do have a beefed up suspension, and as we come along down here, we have lots of underbody protection in this AEV version. In fact, AEV's stamped steel bumpers front and rear and underbody protection are exclusive to the AEV version. And in order to get a pickup truck like this yourself, well, it would probably cost you more than the $11,000 option that Chevy tacks on with full dealer warranty on this one. It really is a good bet, and priced against something like a Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, which is around the same price, but without these massive 35-inch tall wheels and tires, I'd say this really is somewhat of a bargain in the midsize pickup truck segment. Yes, I did say 35-inch tall tires because we are riding on some Goodyear Wrangler rubber on this one. These are Territory MT tires, and yes, there is a lot of meat and sidewall on these 17-inch wheels with all the sidewall that really do help this out both on road and off. It does mean your brakes are going to be slightly smaller than if we had an 18, 19, or 20-inch wheel or tire, but I think this is the right proportion for a modern pickup truck. 17-inch wheels, 35-inch tall tires. As we pull around to the side of this pickup truck, you can see there isn't a whole lot that sets it off outside of those tall wheels and tires, but we do have a cool little trick right here in the rock rails. Chevy does put rock rails to protect the side of the vehicle from off-road damage. Though I will say the mounting point and technique is a bit curious for me. You can see it does hang down and will kind of catch if you hit an off-road obstacle just right or just wrong, as the case may be. And it is perhaps the only curiosity I have with those rock sliders. They are weight rated to withstand the weight of the pickup truck. And it's just those mounting brackets are a bit odd in actuality if you were to get this thing off-road in a precarious situation. It is possible, though perhaps unlikely, you could get it stuck. ZR2 Bison badges here on the side do let everybody know that you have the biggest and baddest, if they couldn't tell by its stance. As we move around to the back, you can see that AEV specific rear bumper. Gone are those corner bumper steps, but that's where the blind spot monitoring system does reside behind this plastic part. This upper part and a lower part are all steel. These are steel specific bumpers for the AEV version. We get black badges all the way around, and yes, you can see here AEV badging back here on the back with their symbol of the Bison, just proudly announcing its presence back there. Fun fact, the bison is the toughest, strongest native creature to the North American shores. And as we move into the bed, you can see we have an incredibly damped tailgate. In fact, it is so much so that my son, Tucker, was like, "Why is it so slow, Daddy?" And the first time I opened it up, it was near freezing outside, and I thought, well, maybe it's just really cold. It hasn't had a chance to warm up, but It will get a little quicker as it gets worn out a little bit more, but just note that yes, we do have a damp tailgate. We do have some measurements back here that keep you from exaggerating too much on your fish stories, though I don't know that you're going to be doing any actual woodwork back here because those tick marks are way too thick to have any sort of accuracy. Right here, go ahead and show you, we have a couple of latches and some hidden storage here in the tailgate. The tailgate wars have made their way to the midsize truck segment, and I absolutely love it. This will be good for tow straps, jumper cables, or an ice chest because, yes, there is a drain plug in this, and you can see everything is weather tight. So you can have a tailgate within the tailgate, a tailgate party, a cooler right here in your tailgate if you'd like, or you can store some tools. You can see we do have a Chevy Tech spray and bed liner, and yes, we do have a full-size spare back here in the back. I do wish that Chevy and AEV had mounted that sideways, like long ways sticking along the bed rail back here, because, well, you can already see the problem. Yes, it is behind the driver, but it does eat up your rearward visibility. And no, there is not a rear mounted camera back here for that rear view mirror duty. So that is a slight omission in design and options here in this one, but it does give the back of this truck a really cool look. We do have some additional power back here with a 120 volt, 400 watt household style plug right back here in the back, adding to those tailgate duties and possibilities. And then yes, because it is such a damped tailgate, it is very easy to close one-handed. Before we climb in this one, I did want to show you the key. It is your typical Chevy key with our black bow tie that matched the black bow ties all on this one. But you can see it lock, unlock, remote start, and a panic button. You can also deploy a physical key if you must, but you can keep it in your pocket, your purse, wherever you keep your key, because we do have keyless entry on this one. It is not a passive system, so it doesn't unlock by pushing on the back of the door handle here, but it does lock and unlock with the push of that button right there. So one push locks them all. The next push, as we have it set, unlocks the front door. The next one unlocks all four doors and your tailgate. So depending on how you have this thing set, you can get into all four doors, but I think that works well enough. Like I said, it's just not an active system. Once you get inside, you are welcomed by a very nice upscale interior in the midsize segment, and I really do like what Chevy has done here. If you have watched my GMC Canyon AT4 video, you know I complained a little bit about this. It still lingers as a problem to me. It just feels a little bit poorly designed. It is just a little too easily moved, but for the most part, it has not really been a problem in our time with it. As we come to the door, you can see we have two-person memory seat, which is a nice luxurious option. We have express down for the driver's window, down and up, but express down, not up, for all the three other windows. You can see we have a little bit of storage here. We have a cup holder here, and a little bit of storage here in the door. Interesting. I wonder what is in this big section that we don't have more storage down here. As we take a look at the seats, since it is a memory seat, you know it is power seat. We have multi-way functionality here with two-way lumbar. And as we take a look at the seats themselves, you can see they are dual tone leather with the yellow accenting that is a hallmark of the ZR2 models. And yes, we get that AEV branding there in the headrest. In addition to all the underbody protection in the wheels and tires, AEV models also get these AEV specific all-weather floor mats. You can see they are fit nicely, that whatever dirt and yuck you've gotten into, you're going to keep the carpet and interior of your ZR2 fairly clean. Now, climbing into this one, you can see these kind of sort of work as steps, but they really aren't. They aren't textured, so if your boots, your shoes are slippery, it's very likely you are going to slip on it. And you can see we don't have an A-pillar mounted handle or a handle anywhere up here. Your only option if you need something to grab onto is the steering wheel, or again, the aforementioned slightly floppy door here. And even myself at 5'10", find it a little bit of a stretch to climb up into this one, but I can do it. It can be done. Go ahead and close the door here and take a look at the interior. Here you can see we've got lots of screen real estate in front of us. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and put my foot on the brake, push the engine start button, and let this thing fire up. You can see we have the largest fully digital gauge cluster behind the steering wheel, and then we have a large infotainment screen with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Interestingly enough, over my left knee, you only have your brightness controls for your gauge cluster, no lighting controls. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Also hidden way down here, you have your trailer brake control. Yes, this thing can tow, even though it is built for off-road duty. So that is really all the controls you have over your left knee here. Very interesting round air vents here on both exterior seating positions, but the interior ones are rectangular. Starting with this gauge cluster behind the steering wheel, I do really like the steering wheel. It is nicely rimmed. It's got a nice grip to it. It works very nicely. You can see it is a heated steering wheel. We've got our cruise control. Over here, we've got volume and tuning on the backside, but this button right here does cycle through multiple different screens. So you can have your Google Maps, you can have your kind of performance racing screen here with the G meter. You can have your off-road screen here with what your transfer case is doing, your steering, your pitch, your roll, things like that. You could get your driver assistance screen. You can get a very calm, simplistic screen, or you can get kind of the more generic, tell you everything that you need to know in a quick glance, including what you're listening to over here. But generally, I've left it on this 2-dial screen here. It has done a good job of informing me of everything, including my very pathetic 13.3 MPG. And you can see we have put it on the road. It's just not getting great fuel economy. You are going to want to find a screen that works for you because there is no head-up display. So you will be able to familiarize yourself with the screen or a quick glance down at your speed. Over here, we do have Chevy's infotainment system. I am currently filming on my phone, but you will see here in just a moment when we switch to our GoPros what CarPlay is like. But it has been a very good system in our time with it, albeit a slightly odd one because all of our lighting controls are here. So we have some quick access buttons here, but you can go to your quick access controls and you've got more stuff like your fog lights, like you might have seen I had on earlier. Hill descent control, window lockout, stuff like that are all buried in there. You also have a few other options here in this. You can drag these around and move them however you like, which is actually how we got the camera button over here. You can drag these and move them around. I like all that, works fairly well. You can see we do have an off-road mode here that shows you your pitch and roll and your steering angle. So if this is the screen you want to be looking at, but you're still interested in this information, well, there you go. You even have your elevation and your GPS coordinates. Quick access button for your cameras too, which I really like, in addition to the side button for cameras that I had over here. Lots of good camera angles in this. I really do like what Chevy has done with all their camera angles. You can see front and rear. You can see over the nose and tail. You can see your back wheels, your front wheels, or your front wheels and your back wheels. You can turn off that 360 and just have tons of views all the way around you. And if we had a trailer hooked up, we can absolutely see back there. But really like all of Chevy's camera angles and how on the off-road screen, they build that in. This is the Baja mode. There is a terrain mode, which is a little bit more slow and steady. And then overlanding, which is more focused on the destination more than anything. So really like all of that built in there. It even tells you what drive mode you're in. Down here we have dual zone HVAC controls with our heated and ventilated front seats. Really do like that. They automatically come on depending on what the exterior temperature is and what you have it set at. So I like that really well. These seats are very comfortable. Moving down further, we've got our dual vents, locking front and rear diffs, your auto start stop, defeat, your hazard button, your lane keep, an aux button pre-wired. So if you wanted to have additional lights or a winch or something like that, you have one pre-wired spot here not like in a Bronco where you've got 6 or more. And then an interesting button right here. I did say we have express down on all 4 windows, just only express up on the driver's window. This is what we like to call the tube button, because when you push it, well, it drops down all your windows at the press of a button, which I like, and will bring in some fresh air if you need it in a pinch. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and put all those back up and continue our tour around in here. You can see we have USB-C and a USB-A port up here for wired connectivity. We do have a Qi wireless charger. We have our 8-speed automatic right here with manual mode, so you can go through the gears if you need to. When you put it in reverse, it does trigger that camera. Those cameras are very nice and clear. Electronic parking brake, and then our transfer case right here. It is an electronic transfer case. You can put it in auto, 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low, all at the push of a button right here. You can also twist this dial for your multiple different drive modes. So you can see we've got off-road, tow haul, terrain, I stayed on it too long, Baja, and back to normal. So plenty of fun off-road and on-road different drive modes here. I like with terrain that it triggers the one pedal driving. That kind of preloads the brakes for you and helps you modulate your forward momentum. As we move across the dash, you can see we've got a very wide design here, really emphasizing the width of this midsize pickup truck. And we've got this digital camo-like pattern with our ZR2 badge right there in front of the passenger. It is a really cool look. It is nicely, softly padded, but does give a little bit of a squeak, but a little bit better put together than the first GMC Canyon that we had. I really like the digital camo look. I like the interior of this ZR2. Over here we have a not damped, just a regular glove box, no felt lining in here either. And then just like the driver's door, we have a storage pocket there and a cup holder there, a little bit of storage in the door handle, 2 cup holders down here, and a decent sized center console with a removable tray right here. You can see that is a pencil bag that we use to transfer from vehicle to vehicle. That's our go bag. On the back of the center console, we do have 2 cup holders for the rear seat passengers, which we will talk about here in just a moment. But coming to me, I've got decent headroom, even with this standard sized sunroof up here above me. It does a good job of bringing in some natural light, and I really like the simplicity of being able to close that myself. But yeah, at 5'10", I've got my seat all the way down. I've got decent amounts of headroom here, but if you have a taller torso than me, headroom might be a little bit of a problem. But I do like how, unlike the last generation Tacoma, the seat is up off the floor. You really are sitting up like in a truck. But now let's take a look at that back seat, because some compromises were made. Unlike the driver's seat, as we come to the back door here, we do have some aids for climbing in the back seat of the pickup truck, but you can see it is a tidy back seat, to say the least. We'll get into more of that here in a moment, but we do have a little bit of storage here on the door, another bottle holder down here, and another big plastic panel that I'm not quite sure what Chevy's hiding in here, but it seems like they could have given us some more storage or tiered storage here. But we do get nice padding and the same design as what we see up front. They are smaller doors. They are about the size of a Silverado extended cab back seat, so just kind of helping with the thought process there. There is some under seat storage here, but I am going to have to use 2 hands in order to flip it up because you do have to pull that latch, unlike on the Silverado where you can just lift it up. Underneath the 60/40 split, you can see we do have some storage, but we also have our jack down here and some additional items. So not a lot of storage underneath here. I'd say the Honda Ridgeline in the midsize pickup truck segment has the most, but yeah, it is down here. And then we've got a lot of plastic kind of hampering what you can store down here. To drop that back down, we just pull that latch and it does fall down into place. You can see same seat designs and multicolored textures back here as well, just like what we see up front. But we're going to go ahead and climb in. We're going to use that grab handle to do so. Really wish we had a B-pillar mounted handle, but I guess I will live. go ahead, step up and in and slide across. And this is me sitting behind myself at 5'10". Yes, my knees are touching the back of the seat, but I'm not incredibly uncomfortable. If we were in the top trim TRD Pro version of the Toyota Tacoma, you know, those have suspension built into the seats, so I would have even less room back here. This segment across the board is a little tidy when it comes to the back seat. I think the Ford Ranger or Honda Ridgeline are the two best choices if you're really concerned about the back seat. We do have some nice amenities back here, like 2 air vents, a USB-C and USB-A port, as well as a 3-prong outlet down there as well. I already mentioned the cup holders on the back of the center console. We do have some storage in mat pocket form on the backs of both seats, and we do have a fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders, which is really nice. If you want to see what it's like living with this as a family vehicle, where I even installed Tucker's child safety seat, be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow along for that. And then a lot of you have commented how Chevy doesn't like to put third headrests in back seats. Well, behold, the tiniest headrest I think I've ever seen in my entire life. It does exist. We do actually get 3 headrests back here. Coming to me, I've got a nice little cutout here giving me plenty of headroom. Again, I'm comfortable back here. Am I going to sign up to ride back here? No, but it is a plenty comfortable back seat. I've got enough room. The seat back is not upright and uncomfortable. I'd say all around, it's a very comfortable place to be, though of the 5 seats in here, it's not my first choice. Before we set off in this one, CarPlay. There, showed you. But as we set off in this one, yes, it has a Baja mode, which is for off-road racing. Though I'm not in any sort of Baja-like situation, so we're going to see what it's like on-road racing. So to do so, we have partnered with Racebox, and we have our GPS 0 to 60 timer right here. You can get one for yourself, see how quick your vehicle is. All links down in the description below, but first time I'm going to brake torque it and see what we can get there. So full stop right here. We're in normal mode, 2-wheel drive, floor it, and drop the brake. Off we go. 2.7 to 30. Pretty quick for this big stout truck. 7.59 to 60. Brake torquing it, 2-wheel drive, auto mode. Interesting. We will test that a couple more times at the end of the video. We'll actually put it in 4 high and we'll see what that is like. But generally speaking, I'd say sub 8 seconds. Not too shabby for what this pickup truck is. It will get moving. As I mentioned earlier, this has more torque than a brand new Mustang GT. 430 pound-feet of torque and something like 418 in that 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 from Ford. Just kind of weird comparison there, but a comparison nonetheless. Same price point too. But as we set off in this one down my favorite testing road, curvy driving road here in East Texas, I will lament a little bit the scheduling of when this was brought to me, not being able to get it out to Barnwell Mountain. The weather has been trash over the week that we've had this, and I just was not able to make it out there to test this thing off-road. Though I have tested this platform out there off-road in the GMC Canyon, I absolutely loved it. Suffice it to say, of the vehicles I have tested out there, this is the one that is the most capable out there, most closely in my price range, and the most likely to end up in my driveway of everything I've tested out there. So there's that. It is a lot of fun off-road. On-road, it is equally nice. Everything that makes it good off-road translates here on-road as well. All that extra sidewall on those 35-inch tall tires means it is a very cushy ride just from the tire perspective. Add on top of that those DSSV Multimatic dampers. Again, F1 style race technology in a truck suspension means that even though, yes, I can tell this is a body on frame pickup truck, and I get some of that pickup truck like body on frame jitter, it is nowhere near what you would expect an off-road rock crawling Baja racing pickup truck like this to ride on road. It is actually very impressive, and I have enjoyed my time in this both on road and, yes, off-road when I got to test this platform off-road. It really is comfortable in all situations. In fact, here in East Texas, it's been a pleasant truck to drive for the most part. I've joked a lot about that spare tire in the back, but it is a little bit of a nuisance for overall visibility. We don't have a backup camera in the rearview mirror here, but we do have our 360 cameras that are on whenever I want them to be. No lawyer interference here, so I do like that. So Chevy has made up for some of the compromised visibility with cameras that work as soon as you need them. And I do like the fact that I have that quick access button there on the screen to see my cameras at any point in time. Otherwise, I feel like I'm sitting up on top of the world in here. I really do have a view of everything around me, just not right behind me. And that does make for a very imposing presence on the road, wherever I may be, school pickup line or whatnot. I have thoroughly enjoyed this truck. Though, yes, it does come with some compromises when it comes to climbing in and out of it, which you will hear from Holly when I put her behind the wheel in our family review, which is coming out next here on the channel. Be sure and subscribe for that. Otherwise, driving it around, the steering is good, though the turning radius is a little bit compromised. The power is good, though the 0 to 60 time proves that it's not stellar. Now, with all of those brake torque acceleration runs, you may be thinking, okay, but in real life, what can I expect 0 to 60? So we're coming up to a stop sign here. We'll do a full brake, just move my right foot from brake pedal to accelerator and see what that does, just flogging it. So come up to a complete stop here at the red light. Again, I'm in two-wheel drive mode here, so just sending power to the rear wheels, firm on the brake, and then we're gonna mash the gas. Ready, set, go. Wheel spin from the rear wheels there, turbo lag really kicking in. Just under 3 seconds to 30, and 8 to 5. So that's your rear world merging onto the highway acceleration number. 8.5 seconds, 8 1/4, somewhere in there. But yeah, good, not great. It is a pickup truck after all. I will say I have not really had any major complaints with this powertrain. That is a truck-like acceleration number, so I've got no complaints there. The power, the transmission, everything is there doing what I want when I need it. I've not had a complaint. I have not really felt this 8-speed shift at all, and this is a substantially improved 8-speed over the last generation Colorado Canyon. So yes, a lot of work has gone into a carryover 8-speed automatic, and that TurboMax engine, again, being the high output version, really does get you going in reasonable amount of time. I feel very confident piloting this thing around no matter where I go here in East Texas, because again, our roads are made for pickup trucks. We are the pickup truck capital of the world. I'm behind a Super Duty King Ranch right now. I mean, trucks are everywhere here. And while yes, I would love to be carving this windy road in perhaps a muscle car or something V8 powered, I'd still say this is a fairly decent overall suspension and ride because I'm not like getting a lot of sway here in this either. Engineering that went into this pickup truck really is very impressive, and I've enjoyed the ride in this. It really is a good all-around pickup truck. Supremely comfortable, mostly good visibility, mostly good acceleration. Really, my only major complaint is straight rearward visibility and fuel economy. We have over 160 miles of mixed use driving in this, and the EPA rates this at 16 mpg across the board, we're mid 13s here in this. That is not great. It is not what you would expect from a pickup truck that ditched a V6 from its last generation to go Turbo 4 and not have the fuel economy returns to back it up. Granted, that really was done for torque and emissions more than anything. And yes, we do have those tall 35-inch tall tires that hamper overall fuel economy, but you know, it is what it is. All right, we are to the end of the twisty bit. Now we're going to do a couple more 0 to 60 rounds. We're going to go ahead and come to a complete stop here. I am in normal mode, but now in 4 high. We'll come to a complete stop, firm on the brake, firm on the accelerator, rev it up and drop the brake. Better traction. You definitely got some turbo lag there, but we're going to be a little bit slower to 60 here in this one. 8.11. So yes, definitely worse in 4-wheel drive, but we gave that up for a little bit better traction. We were also going uphill slightly, so we'll turn around here and see what it's like going slightly downhill now, again in 4-wheel drive. See what that is like. So full stop here, rev it up, brake torque it a little bit, and off we go. Turbo lag is very evident, but when it gets moving, this pickup truck gets moving. 788. So yeah, just under 8 seconds 0 to 60. Whatever the situation may be, these tires are not meant for drag racing. This truck is not meant for drag racing, but it is meant for going fast off-road. And if you want to see whatever we are texting next, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified every time a future video drops from us. Find us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it. Everything is at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. But as for me, I am now carving up these corners in a lifted pickup truck, and I'm not regretting my decisions to go fast around these corners. Again, F1 style racing suspension underneath this off-road pickup truck. Yes, I'm getting a little plow from the big 35-inch tall tires, and this is absolutely not what this truck was meant to do in this environment, but it is still fun nonetheless. All that and more until next time, gearheads. Bye. I'll say this is a pretty fun truck to send through these corners. I would hate to be oncoming traffic to see me driving this thing quick around corners. My goodness.